Okay, well, hello, Menominee Falls Action Team. It is great to be here. As you know, it's been a pretty big week for me. We announced on Wednesday, and then we've hit the campaign trail. And I couldn't be more excited to be in this race because as a woman who grew up in Eau Claire and as the daughter of two public school teachers, if there's one thing that I learned really early on in life, it's that when you see something wrong, you got to stand up and do something. And we just see over and over again that Senator Ron Johnson wants to govern via conspiracy theories and calls the January 6th insurrection a peaceful protest, which this is just all too ridiculous for words. And quite frankly, we know Wisconsinites are struggling and we deserve better. And I will be honest, as a fifth generation Wisconsinite, I just can't sit on the sidelines because I believe we've got to get rid of this McCarthyism 2.0. We've seen this before and we do not need it anymore. So I know I only have a few minutes, and so a fun kind of tradition in my family was called a Godlewski top 5 list. So we'd always make these kind of fun top 5 lists about fun foods or places you want to go. So for you guys, I thought I'd do a top 5 list on my candidacy. So number 5, I couldn't be more different than Ron Johnson. As a working mom and as a former small business owner and as the state's chief financial officer, I have different priorities. I believe that providing $1 million tax giveaways to corporations and the 1% is not fiscally responsible. Instead, we should take a Wisconsin first approach in actually helping working families. And as a working mom, I understand the struggles with quality, affordable childcare, the importance of paid family leave when you have to take care of a sick parent or a sick child. And our system right now is just not built for moms or people of color. And I believe it's because we don't have a seat at the table. And I want to change that. Number 4, I believe in science. What a concept. I mean, I actually want to fight climate change, not deny it. I mean, look, Ron Johnson actually believes Greenland is green, guys. Like, it doesn't get more ridiculous than this. And I've got a proven record of fighting against climate change. I mean, my first action as state treasurer was to remove a Republican gag order where we couldn't even talk about climate change. But we didn't stop there. Whether it's my time as state treasurer or even as a former small business owner, we were investing in renewable energy across this state because a green economy is absolutely critical. Number 3, I hope I don't disappoint any of you on this call. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Sorry. I actually fight for issues that working families care about. And we know Ron Johnson is abusing his office. And so I'm going to instead fight for issues that matter, like stopping the attacks on voting rights, reform a broken criminal justice system, make healthcare and prescription drugs more affordable, raise the minimum wage, start investing in rural Wisconsin. And yes, everybody, I think we can get rid of the filibuster to get things done. And that leads to number 2, get her done. People say that Washington can't be fixed, and I don't buy it. I mean, when Robin Vos decided that in the middle of a health pandemic, a financial crisis, and in a social justice crisis, that we didn't need to do anything for this state. Well, my office stepped up. We provided over $5 million to address the digital divide for our kids because we know public schools were struggling with resources, whether that was to buy hotspots or e-learning books. We funded infrastructure projects across the state, over 150 communities to ensure economic opportunity. And we addressed home ownership by preventing foreclosures, particularly with property tax foreclosures, to make sure people could stay in their homes. And then the last one is my winning record, because I beat Scott Walker, not just once, but twice. The first time was with the constitutional amendment when everybody said it was crazy to save the state's chief financial officer. And despite that, we won with a super majority, which is like over 60%, which is a landslide in Wisconsin. And then the second time I won statewide was as state treasurer. And we were winning in counties that haven't been won by Democrats before. And so I think running a successful statewide campaign is critical. So that's the top 5. I'm just going to throw in a bonus for all of you, is that you're going to get sick of seeing me because I'm going to be everywhere. Something that is so important for me and all the campaigns I've run is this is a people-driven campaign. And we are going to meet people where they are. We're going to listen to them because I believe Washington right now just doesn't have a voice, and Wisconsinites deserve better, and I'm ready to bring that. So thank you guys for being a part of this movement and everything that you do to make sure Wisconsin stays blue. We know it's going to be all hands on deck in 2022. So I just am grateful for what you're doing, both with the spring election and as we look for 2022. And for more information about me and my campaign, please visit sarahforwisconsin.com. But thanks, everybody. And I don't know if there's time for questions or how you want to work it, Chris, but I'll leave it to you. And I guess there is questions, it looks like. I see hands already up.
Yeah, and one question from somebody who wasn't able to make it, because I promised I would ask it. Annie asked, how do you view your small business background differently than when Ron Johnson ran on what he called a small business background?
Well, for starters, I don't think a large plastic manufacturer is a small business, but that's just me. So our whole small business was focused on actually helping small businesses succeed. So providing access to capital, particularly for women and people of color, because we know the way that most women and people of color start their business is by putting it on their credit card. And so we served as basically an incubator. So we would provide financial assistance, but also human capital, whether it was to work on their supply chain or their marketing plan to really help grow and start these companies. I mean, one of my favorite companies in our portfolio that we worked with was a consumer-driven renewable energy company, because right now when you turn on your lights as a consumer, you actually are encouraging brown energy, not green energy. And this company was giving consumers the ability to select how they wanted to power their home. And it was led by the COO right here in Wisconsin. So this is just one of many. I think there are companies that are committed to making a difference. They were mission centric and making sure that they could succeed. So that's the work that I did with my small business background.
And then I will pass it over to our doctor to ask a question.
Thank you. What is your strategy for winning northern Wisconsin, which is traditionally very heavily Republican?
Yes, and I'm sorry, what was your name?
My name is Keshavan.
Keshavan. So Dr. Keshavan?
Well, last name is Kutty, Dr. Kutty, but I'm retired, so don't worry about it.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm Dr. Kutty. So no, it's a really good question, and I appreciate you asking. So as I mentioned, I'm a fifth generation Wisconsinite. My family is from Western, but also from Northern Wisconsin as well. And one of the ways that I think we did well in 2018 when I ran for state treasurer is we actually spent a lot of time in Northern Wisconsin, because I think that's a lot of times what's forgotten. You know, when I was living and born and raised in Eau Claire, it was frustrating because I felt like Madison didn't care about me. They didn't care about us. It was all what was going on there. It wasn't what was going on as we were dealing with things like an opioid crisis. Our small farms were being closed. We didn't have access to broadband. Like, these are issues that weren't being talked about. And yet the Republicans, they were saying that they were there for us, and they were traveling the state and spending a lot of time in Northern Wisconsin. And I think that is a big change that we have to do, is we have to build trust and show people in Northern Wisconsin that we understand them and that we're actually going to do that. And I think that we have a lot of opportunities. I mean, the Trump administration created that opening for us. I mean, the fact that we were #1 in farm bankruptcies because of the trade wars that Ron Johnson really helped lead was just put an incredible barrier to our dairy farms and to a lot of our small farmers. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to say, you know, as a U.S. Senator, I believe our #1 priority is actually fighting for Wisconsin and fighting for Wisconsin farmers and fighting for rural Wisconsin. I think the other piece that we don't hear a lot being talked about right now is the opioid crisis. We know that is so severe, and healthcare in Northern Wisconsin, as you know, is challenging to treat this. And we don't have telemedicine, we don't have enough facilities. And that's something that we also have to hit head on. So I think it goes back to an array of talking about the issues that matter, meeting people where they are, and just quite frankly, showing up. And so actually next weekend, I'm going to be in Ashland and in Superior. So we are starting to make sure that presence is clear, and that people understand understand that, again, they're going to be sick of seeing me because we're going to be showing up everywhere.
So I don't think we'll ever get sick of seeing you, but thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thanks, guys, for having me.